Breaking now, Kenya is on edge tonight. From parliament corridors to the crowded streets of Nairobi, whispers have turned into chants. Ruto must go. In the past 48 hours, a wave of protests, high-profile defections, and dramatic speeches have shaken the foundations of the presidency. Some say this is the first step towards a resignation no one saw coming. Others say it's already too late to save his government. Here's what we know. And before we continue, like this video, subscribe and share it so the world knows what's happening here. Because what you are about to hear is not just news, it's history unfolding before our eyes. The tipping point: for months, Kenya has been restless. Fuel prices rising, food becoming unaffordable, jobs disappearing. And in every conversation, from boda riders to university lecture halls, one name kept coming up: Ruto. The discontent exploded after the government introduced a controversial finance bill that threatened to squeeze the very citizens already struggling to survive. That was the spark, and the fire spread faster than anyone expected. In Nairobi, thousands poured into the streets, blocking major highways, chanting for change. But it wasn't just the people outside the palace gates who were angry. The rumblings had started inside Ruto's own political house. Then came the images that shook the country: police clashing with peaceful demonstrators, tear gas filling the air, and young protesters standing defiantly with nothing but flags and banners. Social media lit up. Hashtags like #Ruto must go and #Kenya decides began trending. In that moment, the conversation shifted. This was no longer just about a bill or an unpopular decision. This was about the future of the presidency itself. And as the voices grew louder, one thing became clear: the call for Ruto to step down had become more than a protest chant. The defections and betrayals. In politics, survival depends on loyalty, but when that loyalty begins to crack, the end can come faster than anyone imagines. Just weeks ago, President Ruto still had the appearance of a solid political machine, his coalition standing firmly behind him, his cabinet unified in public. But behind closed doors, the fractures were already forming. It began with whispers from Parliament, members of his own alliance meeting privately with opposition leaders. The official word was dialogue, but the truth was more dangerous. They were discussing what Kenya would look like without Ruto in power. And perhaps the most telling moment came during a high-profile parliamentary session. When Ruto's finance proposal came up for debate, several MPs from his own camp refused to vote in its favor. It was not just defiance, it was a signal that his grip on power was slipping. In Kenyan politics, defections can spread like wildfire. Once the first leaves fall, the whole tree can be stripped bare in a matter of weeks. And now, with every passing day, the once loyal voices are either going silent or joining the growing chorus demanding that he step down. For a sitting president, there is no greater danger than losing the trust of your own team. The streets take over. In the heart of Nairobi, the streets no longer belong to the traffic, they belong to the people. From city markets to rural town centers, Kenyans have poured out in numbers too big for the government to ignore. Some are there because of the economic crisis, others because of the heavy-handed police response to peaceful protests, many because they feel betrayed by campaign promises that have turned into hardship. The message is loud and clear: this is not just about one policy or one mistake. This is about trust that they believe has been broken beyond repair. In one viral moment, a young woman stood on top of a police barricade and shouted into a megaphone, "Ruto, if you won't leave for us, leave for the Kenya you claim to love." And every new rally swells the chant that has now become the unofficial soundtrack of this crisis: Ruto must step down, Ruto must step down. This is no longer just politics. It's a public verdict, one that grows louder with each passing day. The symbolic step down. In politics, stepping down is not always about signing a resignation letter. Sometimes a leader can lose the very thing that makes their office powerful: the trust, the authority, the legitimacy in the eyes of the people. And for President William Ruto, that loss may already have happened. Across Kenya, the conversation has shifted. Journalists speak of a post-Ruto Kenya as if it's already here. Opinion polls show a collapse in public confidence. Even in his strongholds, support is lukewarm at best and silent at worst. In the streets, many now say Ruto is no longer their president. not because the law has removed him, but because they have. This is the symbolic step down, the moment when the seat of power becomes empty, even if the leader still occupies it. For some, it is only a matter of time before the symbolic becomes the official. Whether he realizes it or not, Ruto's presidency has entered dangerous territory. Their president. Because in the eyes of millions, he has already stepped down. He is no longer what comes next. For Kenya now stands at a crossroads. On one path lies confrontation, a cycle of protests, police crackdowns, and a government digging in deeper. On the other lies dialogue, reform, and the possibility, however slim, of rebuilding trust between the people and their leaders. But history tells us something important. Once a people have tasted the power of their own voice, they rarely go back to silence. Ruto's allies will try to contain the fire. His opponents will try to fan it. And the world will watch to see whether Kenya becomes a cautionary tale or a story of democratic renewal. The question is no longer just about Ruto's presidency. It's about Kenya's future, about whether the will of the people will truly shape the destiny of the nation. And as we've seen, in today's Africa, the people are no longer willing to wait quietly in the shadows. What do you think will happen next? Will Ruto hold on, or has Kenya already chosen a different path? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share it, so more people can join the conversation.